admit that I murdered that Hamlet scene, bro. Shakespeare is in his grave right now. He rolled over. You did your thing, beloved.
What's going on? My name is Nigel Chambers. I'm from Big Old Belt Media. Clarence, thank you so much for the time today. Very much excited to talk about your new film, Sing Sing,
That's your brother.
hitting nationwide August 2nd. How you feeling?
Fantastic, man. I'm walking on in.
Man, I gotta tell you, for all the things I want to talk about today, I am still just jaw dropped at your performance in this film. Now, I am a complete. Listen. I know I'm new to, and being exposed to the RTA, but I am a complete believer not only through the rehabilitation power of the program, but obviously the stardom that could come from it as well too. Because man, so I want to start off right there, man. By you viewing the film multiple times, and then last night I could imagine just how even more impactful it was to be able to screen this film at the National Museum of African American History and Culture, and seeing yourself on screen, hearing the crowd reaction, the sniffles, I'm sure as well too. So many people probably showing you love, giving you flowers afterwards, man. What is that emotions? What has that ride been for you? And what's going to be the next project? Because you know now at this point, I got to see you back on the screen, my guy.
Man, I can't wait to get back on the screen. But listen, man, the emotional ride that take place, especially being in such a historic, and becoming a part of that history, because
Yes.
my thing is living over there forever. So, man, the emotional ride that takes you on, man, you know, it's like words can't really depict, can't really describe it fully. To be able to gift that to my mother, to be able to gift that to my family, you know what I mean? I mean, you know, coming from where I come from and living the life I lived, there was plenty of times my mother cried for me for things that I did wrong. And this is something that she could cry for me for something I did good.
Mm,
That right there is enough.
You gotta take a moment on that one because that's powerful. And everything you have done thus far has been powerful. When did it click for you, realizing that and it was something that was said in the film too about all you were ever going to be was going to be a gangster and et cetera, and nothing else. And we see that transformation through the film, and though that was the story, but now come the activism, the platform that you have now, the brand that you have become. When did it all click that that statement that you said before, just how what's the word I'm looking for here, but how like trapped that statement was for you
Yeah.
to ultimately seeing everything you've become now?
Well, because you know that statement was born out of conditions that I grew up in and the things that I saw. And you know what I mean? There was there wasn't many people who made it out. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Who made it to where I am now, or unless you was an athlete or you know what I mean, or
yeah.
got into entertainment, rapping or whatever. But that's not true for the majority. That's not the path that the majority take. And you know, that's when you get the feeling like, well, listen, I must be destined to be the same thing my uncle was, or the same thing my cousin was. You know, you get locked into that. And it was like 7 years into my bed when I found RTA, and that really changed my mindset. I started learning how to hone this craft and learn how to tell stories to tell other people's stories and use a lens that was my own to see their stories and be able to translate it. In the translation is where I think the connections come, because in the translation I get to touch people who can relate to my story or use my story to relate to something in their lives through a character. And you know that was empowering. That was
Yeah.
very empowering to be able to have that ability and to be able to have that effect on people. And I would like to continue to be able to, you know, affect people's lives and change them through how I tell the story.
Mm. Let me ask you a question about a couple of things from this film. One that I spoke with your film crew or your other colleagues in terms of putting the film together. So your director, your writer, producer, and then also John and Dina and them. I asked about what does it mean to become human? What does that statement mean for you today?
Well, today that statement means to reconnect to something that you probably suppressed. Because coming up in where we come from, and especially in a prison setting, you start to suppress a lot of, you never stop being human. Everybody, we all human. However, we suppress that human nature, that human quality, because of conditions that we live in. Like, it wasn't fashionable for men to embrace one another and say, yo, bro, I love you, bro. I hope you have a better day today than you did yesterday, bro. That's not a fashionable thing to do in an environment that's predatory. An environment that's predatory, that prey on weakness.
Yeah.
You viewed as a weakness, you know what I mean? But once realizing that that's not really a weakness, that's actually a strength. That's actually empowering, because this is how communities are knitted together, through love and compassion and commonality. This is how societies are knitted together to be strong. So once realizing that, it's a lot easier to activate it and live in it, you know?
Yeah, and I feel that, and I received that. You're very good with your words, shall I say? You feel everything you say. Let me ask you a question. The end of this year, I'm pretty confident Colman's name is going to be called for best actor for Sing Sing. But I'm just wondering, Clarence, what does it sound like to be nominated for supporting actor? What does that speech look like? Because I'm putting that one in the air right now, because that's how I'm feeling. What do you think you're gonna have to say later on? What you're gonna be wearing then? Have you thought that far out?
Not at all. I don't know. I didn't know what I was gonna say to you, bro.
Nah, real talk. It's that type of performance, man. It's completely transformative, and I think once the world gets the chance to be able to see this, just how impactful it's going to be to so many. I do want to ask you about working alongside of Colman, who I said earlier had one of the best years of his career last year, and I know this made his world premiere last year, and I had a lot of people tell me just how amazing this film was and how amazing his performance was. And then they left out the big detail of just how amazing your performance was alongside of his, which just really carried the film. Talk about working through that. And was it ever a point where did you ever have an out of the body moment of just realizing that you're about to put on your performance of a lifetime through your first fucking film, dude? Like, what's happening right now?
I didn't really have an out of body experience. It wasn't time for that. We had work to do. You know, working alongside Colman, man, you gotta go deep, man. You gotta show up, man, because he's showing up every time. He's gonna show up every time, and that's inspirational. That's inspiring and you know, he trusted me to show up. He trusted, and he allowed me, you know, the room to do my thing, to work it out. You know how big Colman is, Paul Racy, Sharon. They could have came on set and threw their weight around. They could have came on set and been big at them, you know what I mean? Because the catalog definitely called for it.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the approach they took. The approach they took was to enfold into the family rather than be outside of it and dictate. And you know, that right there is inspiring in itself. That's you got to show up when they show up like that. You got to dig deep within you and show up too.
Well, you sure as hell did that. Is there anything about you know, as acting as yourself, is there any challenges with this performance that you know, just a regular fan may not be aware of? Is there anything that, you know, in terms of the details, you know, obviously staying true to yourself, you know, wanting to ensure that you get in particular things, and also even at times particularly happen to possibly trimming the fat in certain parts just because of the filming process? What were some of the challenges with this for you?
Some of the challenges, as you can imagine, would be the apprehension to go back and to voluntarily go back inside a prison.
Yeah.
And also to put on that prison garb, which is so identifying as a convict, a prisoner or something. So that was the challenge at first, but you know, the purpose of why we doing this outweighed all apprehension. You know, it's something that was needed, not only for the messages that we need to give the community and the brothers and sisters that are still locked in. It's also needed for the cathartic purposes of me. You know what I mean? To peel back that onion that I keep. I got an onion too that got trauma on top of trauma too, just like everybody else. And peeling back those layers and dealing with them was one of the benefits of doing this movie. I got to peel back some more layers, examine them and you know, clean them up. I got to do that, which was very cathartic to me, you know.
What does it mean to be a Black man and be a part of the solution in changing the norm? We see when you're first brought in on the film, I would like to say that's what a lot of what society identifies stereotypically as a Black man.
Right.
And then towards the end of the film, we see the solution in terms of what I perceive to be a Black man, to be vulnerable, to ask for help, to uplift one another, the camaraderie amongst your brothers, not the isolation, this toughness, this closed offness, this I'm afraid to be myselfness. Like, what does it mean now to be a part of that solution in terms of really reshaping what it means to be a Black man today?
Yeah, I think you caught it right in your last statement, the afraid to be myself. You know, what it means is to disavow that fear, to get rid of that fear, to be not to worry so much about how others view you as a man, but just be a man, you know, and don't be concerned so much with satisfying somebody else's opinion of what you should be, and rather than just be. Be that father that you're supposed to be. Be the brother that you're supposed to be. Be the husband that you're supposed to be, rather than worrying about somebody dictating what you should be.
Yeah. I'm really happy. You know, it's interesting because when we talk about our future, we always talk about the younger generation, about how they're going to be the ones that have to save us. But it's good to see the OGs, the big homies out there, the ones that still leading the way in a way when we need it the most. And the RTA is a program that I think is going to really, it's going to shed a lot of light into the injustice within the systems, but also the rehabilitation and ways to get through it, which is, you know, having these resources, having this outlet for folks, understanding that while they don't give us resources, we make them ourselves. Mm-hmm. Is how we're going to change things. So for my final question for you today, it's been a long road, and today is July 18th, 2024. Just had a premiere in DC last night at one of the most iconic museums in the world. I just want to know for you, my brother, what are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for the opportunity. I'm thankful to be in a position to be able to deliver this message. I'm thankful for so much. I'm thankful for all the people that supported me. I'm thankful for the people that never gave up on me. You know what I mean? Those that taught me to hone this craft, those that introduced this theater thing to me and saw that it was something I can do and poured faith and trust in me. I'm thankful for all those things.
I appreciate that. And I'm thankful for you, brother. Sing Sing comes to theaters August 2nd. I'm telling you, Clarence, I better two things. You gotta promise me right now. One, you better that speech you make when you win Best Supporting Actor. Just remember this moment right now that you had to prep since July. And then ultimately, I can't wait to see what you cook up next. And if there is anything you could talk about that you have in the works right now, because all your other brothers like, I'm still working. I'm about to flood the room with ideas and projects and such. Is there anything you might be able to shed some light on right now?
Listen, man, I really want to do a Western.
Oh,
I really want to do it. So
I am with that.
Be on the lookout. You might see me horseback ride.
I appreciate it, my brother. Once again, Sing Sing comes to theaters August 2nd. Clarence, it's been a pleasure, my guy.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Absolutely.